Well, it's the first week of summer and we're about to experience our first heat wave of the summer and some of the hottest temperatures that we've seen all year. And why is that? Well, we've got high pressure moving in from the west, and that's going to create what's called a heat dome, where you've got all of this air being compressed by the high pressure center. And with the high pressure as strong as it is going to take that air and really create a pressure cooker effect, where you see all of this air compressed and starting to sink down to the surface. And when that happens, you're going to have a lot of hot air trapped in one place for a while. That's what our week is going to look like next week. We'll have lots of temperatures in the upper 90s, heat index values into the triple digits. We'll likely be watching for those heat advisories. Your peak heating is really the middle portion of the day. And of course, you have to remember your heat safety tips. Well, we've got some really beneficial rain on the way, and something that I get excited about that we don't see very often is called an omega block. And that's when that jet stream forms what looks like the Greek letter omega, with a low pressure in the west, high pressure in the central United States, and the low pressure to the east. And so what happens when you've got that is you've got warmer above normal temperatures, but fair weather in the area with the high pressure, kind of jealous of them. And then you get some unsettled cooler weather off to the east with waves of rain. So that's what's going to give us our waves of rain, this low pressure system off to the east moving through our area over the next few days. And of course, cooler as well. Take a look at the next few days. We've got the rain on the way, but we're also in the upper 70s tomorrow and then down into the low 70s for the rest of the weekend and into next week as well. So you got your showers for Saturday afternoon, evening, and into the overnight, really bringing those downpours at times, but the most rain we'll get with the system. Have a few of those showers lingering Sunday morning, really in a spotty sort of nature, and then drying by the end of the day Sunday. A few spotty showers for Monday, an isolated shower or two for Tuesday, and then we are dry for the rest of the week. Temperatures staying in the low to mid 70s with that omega block in play. Got the winds still sticking with us, not nearly as windy as it was for the day on Sunday today, but as we get into Monday, tomorrow, we'll see gusts about 20 to 30 miles an hour for the valley, about 30 to 45 for the Alleghenies and West Virginia. We'll still be dry as well, so that wildfire threat is definitely still a thing. Not quite as high of a threat as what we saw for today on Sunday, but we'll still see that threat. We'll see the winds die down into the evening, taking that fire threat down with it as well. So finally, some time without those high winds. We'll see cooler temperatures with us on Monday in the upper 40s for eastern West Virginia, low 50s for the valley. Plenty of sunshine, so it might balance out, feel pretty nicely, but that sunshine doesn't last all week. We'll see on Tuesday the next chance for rain. Now with this system, there's a lot of dry air that's going to be fighting against this system. So rain totals aren't going to be looking very impressive. In fact, this model is even overdoing how much rain we're likely going to get, but timing is still pretty good. We'll see showers start off more isolated to spotty by about 3 p.m. And then as we get into the afternoon, things pick up just a bit. Again, still a lot of dry air in the system, so a lot of this might not even be making it to the ground. As we push further on, we get a break, and then some more showers into the overnight hours. We'll be drying behind any moisture we get by about 4 a.m. Wednesday morning, even getting some partial clearing in by the time you're waking up. So rain totals, again, not super impressive. West of 81 is going to be where you see some of the highest rain totals that you might get. Further east, you're likely not going to be seeing more than a 1/4 inch. So don't get your hopes up. This isn't a huge drought buster by any means, but it is definitely some moisture, which is better than no moisture. Now, the next chance for rain is looking to be at the end of the week. We'll likely have showers Friday and Saturday rather. Now, this system is pretty interesting. There's a lot of questions we still have. There's some big timing issues, whether or not we'll see the system arrive Thursday night or even arrive Friday night. So there's still some questions that need to be answered, and we'll be able to get those answers as we get closer and closer. So that also means your rainfall totals are still up in the air. We're not likely going to have totals until a couple days from now, and then we'll be able to better tell what this system will look like. So definitely expect tweaks and changes to the forecast as we get closer and closer. Well, guys, there's a reason that within Virginia Tech's network of mountain peak weather stations in the Virginias, the Canaan Valley is the only valley in that list.
Canaan Valley is a very unique place. It's considered the highest large valley in the eastern United States. So the base floor elevation of the valley is approximately 3,200 feet, and it's surrounded by 4,000 foot plus mountains. So if you look at a topographic map of that part of West Virginia, it looks like a giant bathtub.
And that bathtub shape plays a huge role in those lows getting as low as they do, sometimes even producing frost into the month of August.
We refer to them as a frost pocket. So at night, if the conditions are right, then we can get the cold air draining down the mountains into the valley. And especially on a cold, clear night, the valley can radiate a tremendous amount of heat and the temperatures can plunge.
The radiational cooling that happens in the Canaan Valley is the same process that we see here in the Shenandoah Valley, just on a larger scale. So what exactly does that look like? Well, at night after the sun goes down and it's cold and clear, that daytime warmth escapes back into space and the colder, denser air starts to fill in to the lower elevation areas into the valley. Now, this valley is such an extreme example because it really is like a bathtub. There's only one route for that cold air to escape, through Blackwater Canyon. And Professor Carroll says that this location may be one of the coldest spots in the East Coast, if not in the lower 48. Definitely still stay in your safe spots if you're in that red polygon. Areas that are further west of it, you are in the clear. Newmarket, Shenandoah, Elkton, Broadway, Harrisonburg, all areas in that region, into the rest of Rockingham County as well. You're clear for the severe threat. So we're still keeping an eye on this main threat right here, this main tornado warning. Again, it's not something that you want to be afraid of, but you definitely want to make sure you're prepared. So again, if you're in this polygon, you want to make sure you're in your safe spot, because this thing is a very fast moving, very quick evolving storm. It changes rather quickly. I mean, if we roll it back just about an hour or so, you can see how quickly this became an issue. When we came on the air at about 4 o'clock, about 5 o'clock rather today, it wasn't anything more than a few storm cells. But you can see as it hit that clearing, as it got that energy, it really became an issue. And that's when they issued that thunderstorm warning about 5:35. And then you can see how it's evolved over here further east into where we are right now. So it's crazy how fast things can change like that. But that's why you have to make sure you're heeding your warnings and listening and taking that advice. That's where we've had the majority of the sunshine for the day to date. Now, as we look at our UVA Community Credit Union Skycam, you notice a couple of things. You can see the heavy rain off in the distance to the west as it approaches, but you also notice something behind that, more sunshine. We don't want to see that during a time like this, because that sunshine will continue to re-energize the atmosphere and provide more fodder for these storms to start to strengthen and, of course, dump more rain in the process. Taking a look at that thunderstorm fuel, you can see the darker oranges where some of that higher energy is. Right there where we're looking in the Skycam, seeing some of those darker swatches of oranges in Pendleton County into western Rockingham County as well. We'll likely continue to see these storms flare up over the next couple of hours as they feed on that energy, and, of course, more heavy rain comes with that. Similar story into the weekend. First look at weather day for Saturday as well, with those afternoon showers and storms, but we get a break on Sunday, a slowdown on Sunday, an actual break on Monday.
All right, Grant, I appreciate the update. Have a great weekend, and hope you have a great weekend as well.
Tornadoes can't form in mountains. That's a myth many people believe, but it simply isn't true. While they are less common due to the generally cooler and less favorable conditions, they do in fact happen. This is a map of the tornadoes we've had in and around the Shenandoah Valley since 1950, with one of the more notable outbreaks happening within the last 15 years. During the super outbreak of April 2011, the Shenandoah Valley saw 5 twisters touch down in the wee morning hours of the 28th between midnight and 4 a.m. This resulted in extensive damage and a community forever changed.
We hear this horrible noise.
Sound like a bunch of freight trains coming through.
We didn't make it to the basement. It was over so quick.
Instinct kicking, get down low.
We really don't know where to start. A lot of offers of help and everything. We appreciate everybody that has offered to help and all.
But to be honest with you, Facebook, everybody and their brother's been offering to help through that. I put a few pictures on there, and that was all she wrote.
The most notable tornado of this outbreak was an EF2 that tracked an astonishing 33 miles and reached wind speeds of 130 miles an hour. Luckily, no one was injured in the storm, but the damage was immense. While we may not see the amount of tornadoes that other regions experience, they definitely happen, and they are just as dangerous. Working hard for you, Grant Coleman, WHSV.